This has been a journey, let me tell you. I'm just trying to get everything up and going again. And yeah, how you guys doing out there? Got my boy right here. What's going on, Nerd Soul? What is going on, gang? Right now I am literally, and I mean this very, very literally, dual streaming from 2 different spots. All right, and welcome back to the Wizard's Tower. I am here, and yeah, we're here in the Wizard's Tower. We are doing our thing, and oh boy, am I a little cluttered. But yeah, so this is where we're at. We're on Twitch, and we should be live on YouTube as we speak as well. So major shout out to everybody out there. I've been learning some new tips, some new tricks, and a whole bunch of different things. So yep. So no, my friend, the Wizard's Tower did not burn down. Oh no, burning down, that is not what we are doing. No, we ended up having to co-locate in various different spots, and we are back. We are bad. I am black, I am mad, and I'm doing what I can to check out what's going on here and keep up with all the chats. So this is big. This is new for me. I've got quite a few things going on here, and I'm trying to set up the chat on both channels. But thank you guys so much for being out here, for being that kind of ooh, that's nice. Yeah, no, I got it. All right, look at that. All right, got the chat going. So I can see you on YouTube, I can see you on Twitch, and yeah, so we are doing a thing. I was, like, seriously, no doubt, no lie, no wackiness. I was going to put all of this stuff back up on Facebook. All right, I was gonna go on the Facebook. But the thing is, I didn't really, well, how can I put it? All right, so on Facebook, they max out at 720, okay? That is what they do, and I didn't want to do 720 broadcast, so I figured, you know what? I'll do 1080. I will do 1080, but that means that I won't be able to, I won't be able to go on Facebook with all this, and because of the hack I did, there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff out there. But feel free to ask me a question. I will have everything back up and standard hopefully by the end of this week. So, how you guys doing out there? I just did a great show with Nerd Soul on his channel. That's NERDSOUL, right here on YouTube for those of you guys watching on YouTube. Yeah, if you guys are wondering, and yeah, no doubt, no doubt. See, this is us right here. I'm waiting to talk to you guys on YouTube. There we go. Started streaming a couple of minutes ago. So I wanted to talk to you guys about where we've been, what we've been doing, and what we missed. Okay, it has been trying. Okay, trying is the only. Ooh, let's see. Keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. All right, fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no wonder. No wonder. Yeah, we got latency and all that stuff. It's okay. We'll just deal with that as the time comes. Get me back to my dashboard. How you guys doing? So as I said, hey, Planet Houston, thanks for following. Seriously. My poor computer is just going through so many different things, but we are going to get all that stuff going. So yeah, where have we been? Well, as a lot of you guys know, I recently suffered a death in my family. My mom, who I talk about all the time on the channel, passed a few months ago, and thank you for your condolences, especially a lot of the people that have been out there giving all the condolences. I've gotten so many apology letters and I'm sorry and all that stuff. That's been great. But with that, I had to take care of a lot of family business. And in the meantime, the Wizard's Tower crumbled. Okay, absolutely crumbled. But I've rebuilt it from scratch. We got a whole lot of other stuff going. As you guys can see, I've got the castle thing going. And yeah, we have been doing a lot of things. And oh my God, what has been happening? Ah, we have had a pandemic, an end to a war. Global warming has the world on fire. Warhammer 40K has been like doing some weird stuff and purging people. There has just been so many things that are going around. Hey person, what's going on? It says I got somebody watching right now on the YouTubes. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm also going to set out a little Facebook message because I didn't tell anybody that we were doing this again. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are twitch.tv/bid_p and YouTube. Yeah, so seriously speaking, all right, like real talk, real serious talk. We have been going through so many things as a society, as people, all that stuff. It has been crazy, just plain crazy. And in a nutshell, been crazy. Oh, wait, hang on. No, stop talking. Okay. Yeah, and in a nutshell, it has been very difficult to it's been very difficult to keep up. So, what have we been doing? Well, there's been a lot of stuff going on. And one of the things that that has been going on with the world, with gaming, with politics and all that stuff, there's been so many different things. And I actually have a conversation to talk to you guys about today. All right. There has been brought to my attention something that I thought it happened to me once, and a big thing came down to it. Um, there are things that are going on the internet, for those of you guys that don't know, called hate rating. All right. And hate rating is when a content creator of color ends up getting marauded by white supremacists, misogynists, anti-LGBT people, and they take over things. They put up a bunch of insults in the chat. I know when I was hate rated the first time, people thought, or the people were trying to say that I stole all my gear, or I didn't know what I was talking about. Then they started bit spamming on Twitch, so nobody in the chat could say anything. It was bad. And this ties in to a really, really big and important thing that I want to talk about today, which is sorry, my thing is a little bit unstable. It's different internet signal. But I'm working it out. But one of the things I wanted to talk about on that is they've been targeting marginalized communities. That means people in the trans community, the LGBT community, creators of colors. I know my mentors out in Texas, they get hit 10, 11, 12 times a month, and their moderators are great. Their moderators are amazing. But for smaller channels like us, it's a real PETA. It really is. Because how do you how do you police that? And in truth, I've been scared to come back on. I have been really scared to come back on the air because I've lost a lot of followers, I've lost a lot of patrons, I've lost a lot of things. I'll be pulling up all that other stuff a little later on in the episode. But this is a really big thing. Um I've spent a lot of years in spaces that generally don't have a lot of black people, okay? And a lot of times and areas, I've been the token, be it at the game table, at the SCA War, at the gaming conventions, in the anime theater, especially back in the 90s. That was a big thing. And every time I go home to South Central, and I try and tell the people that I grew up with or my family members, like, hey, you should check out this thing. Um, there is an inevitable wall that I have to crack, that I have to climb. And that wall comes down to fear. Okay? Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that causes total oblivion. All right? My people are afraid of a lot of things, and this isn't like a character trait or anything like that. When I say my people are afraid of things, I want to talk to you guys about a really big thing, okay? And I'm doing a little bit about what we're talking about today, because this is a subject that's really big, really hits home with me. And this is why a lot of you guys in the world that you live in and in the stuff that you like, have a hard time inviting your black friends. All right? Not why you have a hard time extending the invitation, but why we as black people very often have a difficult time accepting that application. And I want to give a little bit of a cultural context. Okay. Um, this is a big thing. Long time ago, there was a little thing called Jim Crow. Okay. And Jim Crow was systemic discrimination of black people in public spaces, schools, churches, fire hydrants, you name it. Yeah, you name it, and that's what we got going. Okay. um this is a really big thing because it was the system that said, hey, um what's going on, y'all can't come. Okay, that right there was really big. It was really big. um and then a couple of things happened. Okay, one of the big things that happened with that whole systemic thing was that laws changed. Okay, with the Civil Rights Act, with a whole lot of anti-segregation laws, a whole lot of things changed on paper. All right. Now, this is a really big thing that I'm always trying to push to people, which is just because the laws state that things are different does not mean that the laws are actually, or doesn't mean that stuff has changed. Now, this is a really big concept that a lot of people don't want to address, okay? Now, we've been talking about stuff like critical race theory lately, in the news and all that stuff, and there's a whole lot of pushback on it. It's long. It's long, it's ugly, but I want to give you guys a little bit of cultural context um, for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is Burning Man weekend. Okay, this is the weekend where this thing in the desert happens and a lot of people go. And when a lot of people go to that thing in the desert, it's all fun and dandy and a lot of different things. I haven't gone for a very, very long time. And there's a reason for that. One of the reasons that I haven't gone has been a lot of strangeness. Okay, and by strangeness, I mean I live in the United States of America. For those of you guys that are overseas, how's it going? Okay, and in a lot of ways and a lot of areas, I navigate this society as a stranger. Um, my family on any level did not come to this place for a better life. We didn't choose to come here. And because of that, because of the fact that we didn't come here of our own volition, there's a lot of this place that has not been made or created with people like me in mind. And this is big. This is real. Okay? And what does that look like? Well, there's a lot of entertainment that doesn't consider my subculture, myself, part of the important narrative, if you will. There's a lot of my subculture that isn't really welcomed in a lot of places. And though the laws are different, okay, though the laws are different, public behavior isn't the same. It doesn't line up with the differences in the law and the changing of the laws. And this is a very important thing because a lot of people argue, well, there's no law that says, gay people aren't welcome, or there's no law that says trans people are this, or no law that says black people are that. No, there isn't. But prosecuting a hate crime is very difficult because the committer has to admit in a court of law that their negative behavior or disenfranchisement of the person has to be wholly 100% based on their dislike of that person's outgroup. Okay, this is big. So if it's 99% he black and 3% I don't, or and 1% I don't like his shoes, then it doesn't count. Okay. If you guys are wondering why I keep looking down, I actually made notes about today's episode. Now, after Reconstruction and all that stuff, and Jim Crow happened, and then the Civil Rights Act came about, it was illegal to write laws that discriminated against people, but it was not illegal to discriminate against people as long as you didn't tell them why. And this brings us to a big thing, which is everyday marginalization. All right. I was at Burning Man about 4 years ago, I was there to perform a wedding. You know, I had my wizard staff, I had my robes. I was out there. I was about to perform that wedding. And and a dude was passing out watermelon in the street. Okay? He was passing out watermelon, and one person walked by, "Hey man, you want some watermelon?" And they're like, "Oh, cool, thanks." And, "Hey man, you want some watermelon?" "Oh man, yeah, thanks." "Hey man, you want some watermelon?" "Yeah, okay, cool, thanks." And then he looked over at me and he said, "Oh, I know you want some watermelon." And I looked at him in all of my well-spoken glory and said, "I don't have a whole lot of time to talk, but I'm gonna pull you aside for just a minute, because if you were talking to anyone else with oh, thank you so much, Vixen, for the sub. Yeah, this is awesome. Um, if you were talking to someone else um with my skin tone and you were to do what you just did, you might, just might, um find yourself, there we go. Yeah, you might actually find yourself on the ground with a broken jaw. That is not cool. What you said was not cool. How you said it was not cool. There was nothing good about what you did. And I do not have the time or the energy right now to hurt you. So I walked along. Um, when I go to game stores, there is a lot of very subtle talking and a lot of side eyeing and stuff like that. And this type of thing is something that I endured for a very long time. Okay. I have a lot of friends. A lot of friends that are like, "Hey, why don't you come with me to this thing?" And I'm like, I'm not exactly recovered enough to do that, but thanks for asking. Um, there's a lot of fear in my neck of the woods. With the fear that happens with a lot of people that I grew up with, we are taught every day that there are certain areas where, though we have every right to be there, we're really not allowed to be there, if not by the state, like the police or anything like that, but by the people that are there. Now, in the first episode of Dark Side of the Room I talked about my very first experience at a role-playing game store and I was given how I was given the bums rush, you know. Um and there have been article after article about subtle racism or hardcore racism within games themselves in regards to coding. And there are a lot of places that won't outright say it, but they take one look at my skin color or my girlfriend's gender or um, a trans person in something, and this thing that says you don't belong in my space goes off in their head, and their behavior toward us changes. Um, growing up black in America, I knew I always had to prove that I deserved to be somewhere. Okay. Um, and this is the everyday racism. The assumption that if I work somewhere, I must absolutely be an affirmative action hire. Because there's no way I could have the job, right? Um, the backhanded compliments of, you're a pretty good looking dude for a black guy. For a black guy. Like, I'm good looking and that is the exception to my genetic structures. Um, even when even when I'm out with friends and I comment on how I'm racially treated differently, this everyday racism or microaggressions that I go through is met with um, light yet pervasive dismissal. You know, oh, it's you didn't get the they didn't turn you down for the job because you were black. It was because of something else. Um, this person doesn't call you names because you're black. It's because you're smart. You have a hard time getting along with certain people because it's not because you're black. It's because you're not part of the in group that they're in. It's never because I'm black. And I lived outside of the ghetto for about 22 years, and it's very exhausting. Okay. And again, this is the everyday thing. This is workplace. This is travel. All right. This is going to work, going to school, going to college. This air of, hey, you don't belong. Or, oh my God, I see you and you're an anomaly. You must want some watermelon. There's not there's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of black people around, so wow, you must be special, you know. And one of the reasons that that is because a lot of black people don't have the emotional bandwidth to put up with that in their extracurricular activities. Okay. Um, I'm writing a video soon about why I don't play Warhammer 40K. And within even within the realms of 40K, there's a lot of imagery that comes with 40K that isn't very friendly. I mean, it really isn't very friendly. Let me pull up some of this stuff. Um, yeah. Um, there's a lot of anti-Semitic imagery. Um, a lot of, it's total war. Everything is ruthless. And a whole lot of Nazi looking imagery that comes from this. I'm pulling up some of the art from 40K right now. Um, and don't get me wrong, the game is awesome. Um, the game mechanics and everything that goes with it is really cool. I gotta say, the stuff, it's a very fun system. It's relatively easy to get a hold of, to get your head around as far as, you know, how many dice do you roll? What do you need to roll? What happens next? It's an easy game to learn and pick up. But a lot of the art, um, that comes with it is very Hitlery. And a lot of the people that play the game have a very territorial um territorial attitude, um and there's a whole lot of am I rightness going along. And I know a lot of people who want the right to say certain words or to act certain ways, and they'll say things in ways to test whether or not I am an evolved person, you know, because in a lot of white spaces, and I mean in a lot of spaces that are primarily white people, especially here in California, in one of the good states. I can't imagine what it's like in the South or in the Midwest. But um a lot of these folks like to test us with hey, I'm going to try and say this word, or I'm going to interact with you in a way that's an inside joke to my friends, and that inside joke is insulting to who you are. And I'm not going to let you know that I'm insulting you, because being racist is bad. Or saying racist things is bad, but thinking them and acting on them, well, that's different, because it's just a joke, bro. Why do you have to why do you have to take so many things serious, bro? You know, a whole lot of gaslighting on it. And being a person of color or a member of the out group in a society means that you don't have the right to defend yourself. You can't speak up for yourself, you know. I left um my longest running gaming group because I was going through a hard time and someone had vilified me. And I called that person a waste of flesh because they they said some things about me that were both slander and libel. And it came down to I was looked at as a threat and dangerous. And I was talking about a particular person in my life. And I said that this person is the type of person, well, this person, we come to know them as a Karen. Okay. And they're the type of person that would slap me in the face if they didn't like what I had to say. But if I even talked about hitting them back, then by the passive racism and microaggressions, even of my closest friends, I'm making threats. So to say, I will defend myself if I'm hurt, if someone hurts me, I will defend myself, is a threat toward the person that I'm afraid will hurt me. Okay? Now, I've been in those environments for decades. And I can tell you, a lot of the people that I grew up with, a lot of my family members, they don't want to come into these spaces because they don't want to put up with more of that. All right? This is one of the ways that these environments are very unsafe, you know? And I don't mean, oh, I feel threatened. I feel threatened. No. I was at a party with these very said same friends. And someone actually slapped me in the face to see if they could. And, you know, I'm an adult. If somebody comes up and slaps me in the face, you know, my first instinct is to punch them, put them on the ground, put them in some sort of lock and ask what they were thinking. But if I lay my hands on anyone for any reason, then there are at least 4 people at any given time that will call the police on me. And that could result in, at worst, a George Floyd. At standard, I end up in an armbar with my face pushed against a wall. Okay? And this is just a reality for me. This is something I have to take into account every time I go to a festival or a concert or a Ren fair or a LARP or a gaming convention. And that's a lot of emotional weight. That is a whole lot of emotional weight. Okay? So a lot of Black people in your circles, the ones that like games, like anime, like D&D, like Battletech or War Machine or Frostgrave and stuff like that, if they're reticent to come over or to hang out with your friends, there might be a reason. And it would behoove you guys to listen to what their reason is. One of my favorite bands from the 90s is They Might Be Giants. And they have a great song called Your Racist Friend. And in this day and age, we can say racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. But there is a real thing about the people. There's a real thing where I've talked about environments at certain game stores, and a lot of people in my position, especially you women, especially the women, y'all can back me up with this, where we talk about behavior that people in these environments do, and we're answered with, well, I've always found it really welcoming. Well, that's good for you. You know, a lot of people ask why I've taken the past few years off of going to festivals, not just Burning Man, but there's a bunch of others. And I let them know that the microaggressions and passive racism gets to me, especially since I don't have the right to defend myself against it. So what can you do about it? What can you do? All right. Well, Deckers, all you guys out there, you guys are good at listening. You guys are good at saying, you know what? I don't experience what you go through. But because you go through it, I'm going to hear you out and try and help you find a solution to it. Okay. Um, there are within these hobbies, be it D&D, anime, tabletop miniatures, video games, whatever nerd stuff you got, there is a sense of economic freeze out that also scares a lot of your people of color friends, your friends of color. You know, I can only say this as a black dude. When I was working at a game store in Orange County, this was like 2003, 2004. People would be like, hey, you want to go do this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. I was making minimum wage. I had rent, bills, and child support to pay. And they're like, but it's only $10. And one of the parts of being within the in group is things, once you are inside the in group, a lot of things become very, very easy. Um, but there is a simple thought process, and this is something that I call giving away credit. And it's a really big thing that we're taught to do, and it's something that I never encourage anyone to do, which is we look at ourselves as very, very, very low on the totem pole. This is where our idea of if I can do it, anyone can. If it's easy for me, it must be easy for you. Okay? I was fortunate because I learned music. And as a bass player, there are certain techniques that are very easy for me that aren't easy for someone who hasn't been playing as long as I have, or who doesn't play that same genre of music. You know, everyone's experiences shape the way they see the world. But we also have to understand that our experiences put us square in the middle and are very, very individuated, even though they might be common. Okay. On this channel, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about how a lot of things that people don't want to hear affect the good times that we try and have in gaming places or with pop culture, you know. There's a reason that Black Panther was the cultural phenomenon it was, and it's very historic, you know. We stand kings. And for the greater public at large, the biggest in group, they're used to seeing themselves as dignified kings or as sci-fi masterminds or as superheroes. But as a member of one of the out groups in the United States, I can tell you, we're not. And part of being in an out group, even when you guys are talking to your friends who you let in because you don't see color, cool. I suppose I don't really like that. But just because you let them in doesn't mean that the world that you guys live in has as well. And that's why it's so important to listen. Okay. Again, when I was at the gaming store, I heard things like, what? It's only $30. Dude, that was a king's ransom for me. I heard a lot of stuff like, part of being the outgroup. And this is one of the, again, today's whole episode is why your friends of color don't want to join you in a lot of places that you go. Is that also being a person of color in a lot of these environments, we are forced to tolerate those that would hurt us and listen to the defenses of those who have hurt us from the people that care about us. You know, I had a talk with someone years ago because I had just gotten tired of the social gaslight. Okay, tired. And because they're like, no, bro, people don't treat you that way because you're black. They treat you that way because you're a great big dude. And I'm like, I am in my MFing 40s. And you're telling me that I don't know what racism looks like when it's pointed at me, and it's the same flavor as the stuff that was pointed at all my cousins and my mom and my dad and my grandma. Like, all of my years of training and seeing this is out the window because you say it's not this, although you weren't even there. I'm like, that is an insult to my intelligence. It makes me think that you think I'm an idiot. And if that is what you think of me, we can consider this friendship, this brotherhood, this all the years that we've known each other in the toilet and never talk to me again. You know, he got humble after that. But a lot of people love telling me, no, 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 what you're feeling is racism. It's not that. And when people treat us poorly in ways that they don't treat other people, or when we're held to standards way higher than everyone else around, honestly, if it doesn't come from a place of race, it's the behavior that racists have used throughout history to oppress people. So the intention might not be there, but the action has the same effect. And growing up in a society that was mostly black, and I'm talking the mean streets of South Central LA, whenever I left the hood, there was a lot of that. Okay, a whole lot of that. There's a lot of things that we don't even know are built on a foundation of exclusion of the outgroup. And we love to think, no, this is America, land of the free, everybody's equal, blah, 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 blah. I would love to think that too, but my eyes and my experiences have told me something different. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a game store and I was playing War Machine from Privateer Press. No, we're not sponsored. And someone would come up to me saying, wow, black people like miniatures games? And I'm like, this black person does, but I missed the last meeting where we got the list of what black people like as a whole, you know? And a lot of people don't know what it's like to live life as a representative of an entire people. Some are learning, and that's where we get the manosphere. But the fact of the matter is there is a lot of hostility. There's a lot of, I think it was illustrated very well in Stranger Things season 2. Okay. When the jerk older brother was looking at the little girl and saying about Lucas, the only black kid on the show, except for his sister, but you know what I mean. Don't hang out with people like that. Not those kinds of people. He meant black. He said something. By the way, I want to give a shout out to my chat, by the way. I'm glad you guys are back. Chasen, I told you, I'm glad that you came back, and it's really good to see you, man. Let's see, we've got Han AVG, Haas032, Planet Houston, Geeks Me Out, great to have you back. Clever Vixen holding it down as always. You know, major shout out to you guys. But yeah, today's episode is heavy because there's been a lot going on, all right? So as I was saying, with being a part of the outgroup, okay? Now, I'm not speaking for all black people, okay? But if you have friends that look like me and in more ways than you do, and they're reticent to come with you in places, ask. Like, seriously ask. Like, hey, why? Oh man, Jason is saying I should be sponsored. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Major shout out. But yeah, really listen to him. You know, a lot of my friends, I think I've got 3 friends of all the people I knew at Burning Man that understand why I'm gone, because I need some time. And a lot of the ways that these things look, okay, the everyday messaging, the everyday thing is, what do you mean? If it was racist, there wouldn't be a single black person there. If it were sexist, there wouldn't be a single woman there. Well, that dude is there every year, and I'm like, yeah, have you actually talked to him and asked him about his experiences with these things? Okay. There's a thing here in Southern California called Wasteland Weekend, and they had to clean house during the pandemic because there was a lot of complaints of racist behavior. Um, there's a lot of people that dress up like Mad Max and stuff, and a lot of white supremacists hijack the aesthetic of Mad Max Fury Road. And here is something that I want a lot of you people to understand. A lot of all you people out there. And this is the part I want you sharing, okay? Talk to your female friends and ask them when they're walking after dark, um, do they really think that everyone is waiting to sexually assault them? Or are they scared of the one person that might? Okay. As a black man in America, I have that fear when it comes to the police. I don't think every cop is a shoot from the hip Nazi or part of a sheriff's gang, but I'm afraid of the one that is, and I don't have a way to differentiate. Um, I don't know that every person that I'm gonna run into at a game store or or a convention. Conventions are big. I don't know if they're gonna be a passive racist or an active racist. I don't think everyone there is, but all it takes is one person to punch me in the jaw because of the color of my skin, and I'm going to jail. Because if the police get called because of the color of my skin, anyone else around has the benefit of the doubt. And it's ugly. It really is. And I wish against wishing, especially for the life of my kid, that it wasn't this way. But it is. You know, I wish that women didn't have to be afraid of that one weirdo that wants to wear their skin as a suit. Okay. During the whole hashtag Me Too movement, I was right there. You know, when people were like, well, not all men, I'm like, no, not all, but too many. You know, not all, but enough. And since there's no way to tell the difference between someone who will hurt you and someone who won't from 60 to 75 feet away, um, truth, it's a big risk. Yeah, I am very gesticular. Okay, I do I talk with my hands. All right, I'm that guy. Um, but yeah, and when you guys have friends that look like me or friends whose family are from a different country who have gone with you places before and have a little reticence, that's the term, a little bit of reticence to go or to return to those places, really listen. And what can you do? Let them know by your actions that you got their back. All right? That you have their back. That if one of your friends or one of your acquaintances that don't know them very well says something that's not cool, that you will come down on them for. Okay? And trust your friends in the outgroup. Trust the women, trust the people of color, not to take advantage of that to get their way. I mean, seriously. Um, I know a lot of people snap back against a lot of these social justice movements where it's like, well, if we give them the power to do that, how do we know that they just won't keep, why won't, how will they not cry wolf? What if somebody accuses me of something I'm not guilty of? It's like, well, if you're not guilty, let that come out, you know? But too many people, myself included, have gone through way too much because I find the community really welcoming. Or, no, that's my friend. He's just a little odd. You have to not mind him. You know, um, don't mind the racist, is on the same level as boys will be boys. And if you really value your friendships with women, LGBTQ, your poor friends, your people of color who are your friends, you know, um, then you gotta stop asking them to bear so much emotional weight when the people that you know better than they do behave poorly. I let people know when they come into my house, everyone gets treated with respect. Everyone. All right. That means nobody is called a Jewish American princess. No one is called, my white friends cannot drop the N bomb, whether or not I know what they mean by it. Not in my house. I might know. I had to have a talk with a friend of mine about touching my hair, and I still stand. If you touch my hair, I'm grabbing your genitals. I know that's a little messed up, but it's still a violation of personal space and touching without consent, and they are on the same level. you know and I had to have a talk with her, and she's like, well, I didn't mean anything by it. I'm like, I don't. I think you don't mean anything negative by it, but what do my neighbors know? You're just a person that's reaching out and grabbing me like I belong to you, like I'm a possession. If I were to do it to your sexy naughty bits, would that be okay? Because I'm not a pervert or a sexual assaulter. you know and she actually got it, and we were able to stay friends, and that's pretty cool. But um but yeah, so the things that you can do about it, okay, a lot of things that you can do is, when your friends don't want to come with you certain places, literally have an aside with them, ask them why, and listen to what they have to say. Okay, trust them on that. Hey, Viper Man. Ooh, somebody wants to drop a character. A bard monk, who the bard is a rapper based on Parappa the Rapper. He buffs his damage, but he raps what he is doing with punches and kicks. That's pretty cool, actually. I like the idea. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Very anime. That's really cool. You should write that one up. Um, I would honestly say, unless you are a rapper, study some of the old school stuff. I'm talking Run DMC, Houdini, Full Force, Kumo D, early LL Cool J, all the stuff pre-Eazy-E and Ice Cube, because their cadences are awesome. Okay, their cadences are very, very seriously. Donald Glover makes fun of them, saying, I had to go down to the store and get a hat, and now I got a brand new hat. But still. Um, you know. But yeah, check out some of that stuff. But we're talking about some serious stuff as well. So yeah, so when you want to bring your friend that's part of an out group to a festival, or to a gaming table, or to a convention, or just to the gaming store, and they're going, nah, it's cool, I'll catch up later, or I don't want to go there, I don't like the people that are there. Really listen to them and assure them that you will have their back. Over Christmas, I was working as Santa Claus at a stage show, and some people came up, and there was one particular incident where a dude said something a little too close to offensive. And I got off stage and I just walked. And what happened made my heart grow 3 sizes. Okay? My supervisor, the stage manager, my co-star, 3 extras, and half of the security force are going, what were they driving and what did they say? Where they at? Where they at? And I'm like, thank you guys. Working for this place, I actually feel like I'm appreciated, because many jobs I've had did not have that reaction unless the N-bomb was dropped. And there have been a few. Like I said, I lived in the suburbs for about 20 something years. But yeah, so that's a really big thing. So if you guys are wondering why it's so hard to get your friends of color or your female friends to come into these environments, take this as just an outline, as some of the things that they might want to talk about, but are reticent to talk about, because most of the time when we do talk about it, that pervasive dismissal is huge. I had a long talk with one of my old GMs saying, no, it's not because I'm smart, because these 3 people in our group are smarter than me and they're not treated that way. And these people over here have less money than even I do, and they're not held to that standard. And these people over here get drunk and cause violence, and nobody even threatens to call the police. They say, oh, that's just them. So don't tell me that it's because I'm big or it's because I'm smart, because here are examples of how all of these people who have the same thing get treated better and are held to lower standards of behavior than I am. And I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, guys. Really not gonna lie. Unconscious bias, it's kind of a bitch. Kind of a bitch. It really is. But what's important, especially with your friends, is when they talk about the things that make them not want to accompany you and things that you like, or makes them not enjoy the things that you enjoy, listen to them. Talk to them about it. Engage with them in the same way that you would like to be engaged with, instead of, oh no, well see, I like that. Or, no, that's not how it is for me, so it can't be that way for you. You know, but I've been talking for about an hour, so, and this is actually going to take me a hot minute to set up. But I want to thank the chat. Viper Mara, dude, hit it up. 5th edition, Bard, you definitely have to take the cantrip, Vicious Mockery, and really, really kind of walk down that path of manipulation. And if you're going to do the Battle Monk, that's very cool. Use a lot of your chi powers. And that also lines up with the anime thing of wrapping your stuff and screaming out your move. So that's some really good stuff. I real quick have to find my contact sheet so that you guys get to know where to send your email. I'm glad that this particular transmission came up on both channels. I'm dual streaming. I was trying to stay exclusive to Twitch. Yeah, I was trying to stay exclusive to Twitch, but unfortunately, I was not making enough cash. So I get that. If you guys want to contact us, thank you guys for coming down. Thank you all so much for showing up. I'm working on the new schedule, trying to get the co-host back and get past the day jobs and the corona stuff. But thank you guys for coming back. Major shout outs to Viper Mara, Clever Vixen, Chasen TV, Attila Khan, The Ruthless Wonder, Nerd Soul, Geeks Meow. Wait a second. Who else do we got here? I also believe Impossible Pub. All you guys, thank you guys for coming back. Spread the word that we are going to be here on YouTube and on Twitch. And wait, what do we have here? Yep. And in case you guys want to get a hold of us or need to get a hold of us, or you're having some of those moments where getting a hold of us is important, come on down to backinthedeck@gmail.com.